I thought as we look at the final part of Psalm 46, I would come outside and record in the garden, because I don't know about you, I'm really enjoying hearing a bit of the bird song while I'm spending so much more time indoors. There's a very noisy seagull over there somewhere making himself heard. So we've been thinking about this psalm and how the writer shows us that even when nature is in uproar, even when kind of disease is coming our way, even when nations are shaken, God is not shaken, and where he is safety and security. And the last section of our psalm just sort of draws that all together, and I'm going to read that for us now. The writer says, "Come, behold the works of the Lord. See what desolations he has brought on the earth. He makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. Be still and know that I am God. I am exalted among the nations. I am exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge." And in these final verses, the writer is inviting us to come and see. He said he's been making all these claims about God, what he's like, and now he says, come, kind of look over the wall of this besieged city and see how God has routed our enemies, how the Lord has brought us victory. And it's possible that this psalm was written in response to an actual victory, that he may well have been saying, kind of, look, this has happened, we've been free, the city of Jerusalem is free now. But it's also definitely a prophetic vision of the future, because he says God makes wars cease to the ends of the earth, and that's not something that's happened yet. But it is something that God promises elsewhere in his word many times, that one day in the future the Lord Jesus Christ will return, and he will sweep away all disease and death and suffering and every kind of evil, and restore the heavens of the earth and bring an eternal reign of peace. And this is what the writer is looking forward to. He's inviting us to imagine, he's kind of riffing on this theme, this promise that God has made, that he will come and overcome all of his enemies. And part of that is bringing war to an end, and part of that is bringing peace to a chaotic earth, all of which I think are things that we would really like. So that's a kind of future vision, that the writer has confidence that God is powerful enough to bring peace and order to things that are, humanly speaking, beyond our control, things like death and sickness. But it's not just a future vision, it is also a present one. The confidence that the writer has about this future salvation that God is going to bring means that he has confidence now for the struggles and difficulties that he faces, which is why he has here these words of God speaking, "Be still and know that I am God." He's saying, God is saying, kind of, look around you, remember the promises that I've made, remember how I am Lord over the earth, and because of that, be at peace, rest. It's both a kind of cry of victory, but also an invitation to peace. It's the kind of victory that brings peace, the overcoming of enemies that means that we can rest in God. And he says, I am exalted among the nations, or I am, or I will be exalted in the earth. So both the earth and the nations will in the future be harnessed by God and will acknowledge him as the Lord. And it's that knowledge that God is powerful enough to do that which no one else can do, is what is to give us confidence in the present, that the God who is the Lord of hosts, the God who is the God of Jacob, who promises to be with us, to be our strength and our safe place, our ever-present help in trouble, he is powerful enough. He is the one who will bring us peace ultimately, and he's not just a kind of God on a cosmic scale who's doing kind of massive things in the world, but he is also the God who's promised himself to us, who in Jesus Christ has come near to us and drawn us near to him, the God who's promised to be our God and for us to be his people, that he will never leave us or forsake us. It is this God that is watching over us now, that is in control, that is with us and will never leave us. I know that I've been encouraged by these words and found them powerful with all the anxieties and things that I'm tempted to feel. I hope that they have been an encouragement to you also.